A single night where everything you thought you knew about the game gets flipped upside down. That night happened on October 24th, 2023. The night Victor Wembanyama stepped onto an NBA court not just as a player, but as a living, breathing revolution. Let me tell you something that'll blow your mind. In the entire history of the NBA, and we're talking about a league that's seen legends like Michael Jordan, LeBron James, and Kobe Bryant, only one rookie has ever averaged 20 points, 10 rebounds, 3 blocks, and 3 assists per game. And that rookie? Victor Wembanyama. This story is about a human being who seems like he was designed in a basketball laboratory. A player so unique that NBA legends are calling him something that sounds more like a sci-fi character than an athlete. The Alien. It's a story about potential, about defying every single limitation humans thought existed, and about a 19-year-old who might just change everything we know about sports. Before we dive into his NBA journey, let's talk about what made Victor a global phenomenon before he even touched an NBA court. A 7 feet 4 inches human being who moves like a point guard. Not just moves, but shoots like one, handles the ball like one, and has a wingspan that stretches 8 feet. 8 feet. Let that sink in. Most people's entire height is less than his wingspan. Victor's journey wasn't just about height or talent. It was about survival and defying impossible odds. Growing up in Le Chesnay, a small suburb outside Paris, Victor was always different. At 11 years old, he was already 6 feet 2 inches, a giant among children who made him feel like an outsider. His father, Fedoun, a former basketball player turned professional handball coach, saw something special. When other kids teased Victor about his extraordinary size, calling him the freak and making him feel isolated, his family became his fortress. His mother, Elodie, would spend hours driving him to practice, sometimes traveling over 100 kilometers just to find teams and coaches who understood his potential. They weren't just supporting a basketball dream. They were protecting a child who felt like he didn't belong anywhere. Money was tight. His parents worked multiple jobs to support his basketball training, believing in a dream that seemed impossible. Victor's early years were a constant battle, not just against opponents on the court, but against his own self-doubt, against a body that grew so fast it caused him constant physical pain, and against a world that didn't understand him. Basketball became his escape, his language, his way of proving to himself and the world that being different wasn't a weakness. It was his ultimate strength. To understand Victor, you need to understand he wasn't just another tall guy. He was a generational anomaly that scouts and professionals had never seen before. When LeBron James was coming up, people said he was once in a generation. With Victor, they started using words like once in human history. NBA Hall of Famer Magic Johnson didn't just praise Victor, he basically prophesied his arrival. "This kid," he said, "is unlike anything we've ever seen in basketball." And when Magic Johnson says something like that, you listen. The entire basketball world held its breath. The San Antonio Spurs, known for developing legendary players like Tim Duncan, were about to select Victor as the #1 overall pick. But this wasn't just another draft. This was a moment that felt almost predestined. The Spurs, a franchise that turns promising talents into legends, selecting a player who seemed scientifically engineered to revolutionize basketball. Victor's face that night wasn't just excitement. It was a mix of childhood dream realization, generational pressure, and a quiet confidence that whispered, "I'm not here to just play. I'm here to transform this game." Let's be real. The path to greatness is never smooth. And Victor's first NBA Summer League game? It was rough. Imagine the pressure. Millions watching, every movement analyzed. And in his debut, Victor looked human, struggled with fouls, missed shots. Social media erupted with premature declarations. Overhyped. Another tall guy who can't play. Bust alert. But here's where Victor showed he wasn't just another prospect. In his next game, he dropped 27 points, grabbed 12 rebounds, and essentially told the entire world, "Not so fast." This wasn't just a good game. This was a statement. A declaration that said, "I hear your doubts. Watch me turn them into motivation." Every legendary journey needs a worthy rival. And for Victor, that rival is Chet Holmgren. Another generational big man, Chet represents everything Victor will be measured against. Their history goes back to the U19 World Cup final, where they first faced off. Two unicorns. Two players who don't fit traditional basketball archetypes. Their preseason matchup wasn't just a game. It was a glimpse into the NBA's future. Two 7-footers moving like guards, shooting from impossible distances, blocking shots that seem to defy physics. But rivalries are more than just preseason spectacles. They're about proving yourself when the lights are brightest, when millions are watching, and when everything is on the line. For Victor, that moment was about to arrive. His first real test in the NBA, where hype meets reality and potential transforms into performance. Victor's regular season debut wasn't just a game. It was a cultural moment. Massive viewership, unprecedented anticipation. And despite early foul trouble, he showed flashes of his extraordinary potential. His first NBA points were a promise of what was to come. But his second game, against the Houston Rockets, that's when people realized this wasn't just hype. This was real. Clutch plays, back-to-back blocks that left commentators speechless, an overtime win that felt more like a movie script than a basketball game. Not everyone was ready to crown Victor a future legend. Analysts like Tim Hardaway Sr. and Tracy McGrady had their reservations. Comparisons to Bol Bol and Kristaps Porzingis were thrown around. Tall players who didn't live up to their massive potential. But Victor, he didn't just listen to the noise. He used it as fuel. Basketball has rules. Victor Wembanyama doesn't care about rules. Most 7'4" players are supposed to stay near the basket. Victor shoots threes like he's a guard, blocks shots that make defenders question reality, and handles the ball with a smoothness that makes zero sense for someone his size. Imagine a player who can guard 5 positions, drill a three-pointer from way downtown, and then sprint back on defense without breaking a sweat. That's not a basketball player, that's Victor Wembanyama. When NBA legends look confused watching him play, you know something special is happening. This isn't just a player, this is basketball's next evolution. Want to see the future of the game? Just watch Victor. Giannis Antetokounmpo, himself a revolutionary player, didn't just praise Victor. He looked almost in awe, saying Victor could potentially do things no player has ever done before. As we look forward, Victor isn't just chasing Rookie of the Year. He's chasing something bigger, a complete reimagining of what's possible in basketball. Future matchups against players like Giannis aren't just games. They're potential historic moments where the definition of basketball gets rewritten. So, can Victor Wembanyama become the GOAT? The honest answer is, we don't know. But for the first time in a long time, we're watching someone who makes that question feel genuinely possible. This isn't just about basketball. This is about human potential. About what happens when talent, hard work, and once-in-a-generation physical gifts collide. Victor Wembanyama isn't just a player to watch. He's a player that makes you believe in magic. Hey, if you enjoyed this journey through Victor's story, smash that like button, subscribe to Beastly Athletes, and drop a comment. What do you think? GOAT potential or just another hyped prospect? Stay curious. Stay beastly.